Welcome to this James the Bike Guy, where today we're checking out a new and improved and incredibly versatile hardtail. A hardtail that's in its 8th generation, that's designed to be able to tackle a wide range of things and is running modern geometry. That's right, we're checking out the Santa Cruz Chameleon. And this particular Chameleon is in their MX version, which means we've got a 29-inch wheel up front and 27.5-inch wheel out back. So we're going to go into the features and designs of this brand new bike from Santa Cruz, talk a bit about what it's all about, go over the specs and features, and then of course we're going to end up with exactly what it weighs. So if this kind of thing is interesting to you, be sure to hit the subscribe button and let's check out this bike together. Beginning to go into the new Santa Cruz Chameleon, we should talk a bit about this 8th generation version of their hardtail. So the Santa Cruz Chameleon has been in Santa Cruz's lineup as a super versatile, wide range of use mountain bike. Now, that's fitting with the name of Chameleon because it can shift and change to different types of riders, from a person looking for a real rowdy, downhill-oriented trail bike to somebody looking to use this bike for bike packing. This Santa Cruz Chameleon should be able to span the gaps. Now, this being the 8th generation means that this particular bike is sporting all of the modern geometry, which we'll get into in a moment, but it's going to run some pretty cool things to make this frame work. So at least for 2022, this Chameleon is going to be aluminum only. So there is no carbon fiber version, at least at the time of producing this video, but you're getting this nice sturdy aluminum frame from Santa Cruz. It runs an 1.125 to 1.5 head tube, all internal cable routing. You do have down tube water bottle mounts, but not on the seat tube because you can see it's curved a little, but it still has enough room for big dropper posts to go in. I do like on the bottom of the down tube, it does have triplicate mounts there. And then as we roll towards the back, we'll see a threaded bottom bracket with ISCG mounts for a bash guard or chain guide. But the real magic of these Chameleons comes into this rear end. So this piece here is going to be an aluminum dropout. And this dropout is going to do two things. First piece is it's sliding. So you'll see on the dropout, you see those notches that are back there? That's the 12 millimeters. And I like how they have the lines as well as an adjustment just in front of the bolt to be able to adjust out to make both sides matched up. And by having those threaded adjusters, it's going to also help make sure everything gets lined up. Now, because the bike is available in two varieties, the MX, like we're checking out here, and then it's also available in a 29 only, those dropouts on the back are going to come in a 29 or a 27.5 variant. That's going to help correct for the geometry of the bike to make sure all the angles and everything stay right, but it's running boost through axle and back, and then of course boost up front. Now, out of the box, these Chameleons are going to ship with a 130 millimeter front suspension fork, but the factory does say the frame is also capable of running 140 millimeter front shock. And then when we check out the geometry of the bike, the head tube angle on this is going to be 65 degrees. Seat tube angle is going to be 74.4. Your chainstay or rear center length is going to run between 425 and 437 based on that sliding dropout. But the front center on this size large that we're checking out is 782.8 millimeters. Essentially, that means that the front end of this bike is going to be huge. The distance from here to there is enormous. And in fact, standing by it, this definitely feels like a big bike. And that can be seen inside of its wheelbase numbers of 1,027.8 millimeter wheelbase length. And that's going to make this bike definitely be a good climber. I've got to imagine it's going to be super stable, especially with the 29-inch wheel. But it's also going to make it stable descending with that slack head tube angle as well as the long front center and extended wheelbase. This might be a place where on some of the super tight trails you may notice that the bike pushes a little wide, but it should make for a good playful companion when things get rough. Diving into the componentry on this rig, this is the least expensive variant at the D level. D basically means this is the beginning price point, so it's going to rock some more basic componentry, although it gives a great platform to build up from. So starting off, it's checking out a Recon front fork. This Recon RL fork is 130 millimeters, runs boost through axle up front. You do, of course, have rebound adjust as well as compression damping to dial in the feel. And then on the non-drive side, it does have air adjustment to increase and decrease the spring in the front. And then going to the drivetrain, you'll see that we've got a 1x drivetrain from SRAM. So The SRAM SX rear derailleur operates a 11 to 50 tooth rear cassette, which drives forward to this SRAM aluminum crankset with a 32 tooth narrow wide chainring. You can run up to a 34 tooth chainring on the front end of this bike, and you can see the ISCG tabs as we look through for a bash or a chain guard. Now that system is going to be a 1x12 system, so the 12 speed out back running to the front end, and slowing the bike down is going to be courtesy of SRAM's level hydraulic disc brakes. This is a DOT hydraulic disc brake operating 2 piston calipers in the front and in the rear with 180 millimeter rotors. Diving into the cockpit components, we've got some name brand parts, starting off with this RaceFace handlebar and stem. This is a 35 millimeter ride handlebar, made it up to 35 millimeter short and stubby Chester RaceFace stem, and those are going to run back to a WTB Volt saddle mounted up on this SDG Tellis dropper post. These dropper posts are 31.6 millimeters in diameter, and they operate using a 1x style lever. So you press down on this lever, and that's going to allow the dropper post to come up, put your body weight back onto it, and then push that lever again, and it's going to drop down out of the way. And the last thing to mention on the cockpit that I definitely like on this bike is going to be the fact that we're rocking lock-on style grips. This is a waffle style grip. You can see down on the bottom we've got good nubs, and what's neat about it is because it's got that bolt, it locks on and you don't have to worry about it twisting while you're on the trail. Moving into where the rubber meets the trail is going to be a Maxxis Minion DHF front tire. So this being the mixed wheel size means we've got a 29 by 2.5 millimeter wide trail tire on the front end. This bike is designed up to a 29 by 2.6, so you could run that on the front and the rear, either on the 29 version or with that other Dropout. And this is mounted up on a WTB STI 30 rim. This is a tubeless ready rim laced up to some fairly basic SRAM MTH hubs. Although plenty durable, these are not the highest engaging hubs on the market. And then out back is the Aggressor 27.5 by 2.5 wide trail. So with the 27.5 tire variant, they claim up to 2.8 inch width. Now I should mention, if we look, there's generous clearance with this 2.5, so maybe you could go even wider if you wanted to push the envelope. But that's going to be a fast rolling rear tire with decent grip, matched up to a tried and true Minion up front. The actual weight of the Santa Cruz Chameleon MX comes in and weighs 30.90 pounds. Well, thanks for watching this video on the 2022 Santa Cruz Chameleon MX. This D-level spec is a nice entry point into getting a nice rowdy hardtail with lots of utility from Santa Cruz. So go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. While you're at it, be sure to hit that subscribe button and definitely browse the channel to check out more videos like this to see as well.